Hey guys, it's Chris and we're back with another Witcher video, this time The Witcher Episode 7, Before a Fall. Really dug this episode. You can see the timelines are starting to come together, and I really enjoyed how they kind of cut this up, and we saw a couple scenes that we wondered about in previous episodes. So anyway, let's jump right in. The Witcher Episode 7, Before a Fall. And as a reminder, this video is brought to you by my great Patreons. I really appreciate the continued support, you guys. You guys keep this channel going as we navigate this new YouTube algorithm. And I want to say thank you to all the new subscribers as well. Seems like these videos have done pretty well and a lot of people are enjoying them, so I really appreciate the support. So if you can, to support not only me, but your favorite creators as well, watch the videos all the way to the end. Be sure to share, like, comment, subscribe. YouTube loves all the interaction and all that stuff and engagements, so if you can do those type of things and watch more than one video, etc., it really helps out your favorite creator. Anyway, let's jump right into The Witcher Episode 7. Again, really dug this episode. They're starting to pull from different short stories as well to kind of make this all work as far as the skipping timelines here. Again, remember that the Ciri timeline is the current timeline, and Geralt and Yennefer are certainly catching up to them now. So that's really what I dug about this episode. This was loosely based around the book The Sword of Destiny, in particular a short story called Something More, where Geralt has a dream and heads back to Cintra, and this is to go check on this Law of Surprise baby. And of course, Calanthea tries to pawn off a fake Ciri, essentially, trying to still outrun Destiny. We saw that in the previous episode, where at first with Dooney, she didn't want Dooney to marry her daughter, and then all of a sudden she kind of accepted fate and destiny and all that stuff, and it lifted the curse, love lifted the curse. But she tries the same thing again, trying to outrun Destiny, and actually sends assassins to kill Geralt. So this is coming from Something More, at least a dream of that. So they're kind of combining things as well as later stuff in the novels where Ciri is really introduced. I'm also really digging in this episode, Ciri is really coming into her own as well. She's kind of learned to survive. She stole a horse. She's starting not to give a shit about being the proper princess or whatever, and really learning to survive as she tries to find Geralt, which she believes is now her destiny. But what I really dug about this episode is when Geralt goes to meet Ciri for the first time, and you think for a second this is going to be really Ciri, but it's not, ends up being another girl. Geralt has this suspicion that it's not her and walks out, and we see the scene that we saw in episode probably 1, where she was out playing knucklebones with her friends, and she looked over somewhere as she sensed something in the area, and we thought that was just where the riders were riding up. But in fact, it was actually Geralt who went out there and saw her, because the fake Ciri went out and actually said, "I gotta go now," trying to say goodbye to her friends. She was just going to pawn her off to Geralt like she was the real Ciri, and she kind of gives Ciri away by saying, "Your Highness." So Geralt realizes then that Calanthea is trying to pawn off a fake Ciri and bullshitting him, and she remains stubborn as always, basically telling him to fuck off. She'll never let go of Ciri. And of course, what was really great about the episode and the timeline starting to merge a little bit here, almost caught up with the current timeline where Ciri's at, is that this is right before Cintra burns from Nilfgaard. So ends up being the entire time while this is all going down, Geralt was actually there, locked up in Cintra himself. Then of course he escapes and gets out, and he can't find Ciri before she escapes, but that sets him on the path. So I do assume that before episode 8 ends, we will see Geralt finally catch up to Ciri and meet her for the first time. I also really dug the little part when he was going to see Ciri for the first time, when he realized he was being, swindled and actually saw the first Ciri. He grabbed his medallion. I believe this is the first time that he grabbed his medallion. Usually his medallion will quiver when there's a monster around or something magical. He at least looked down and grabbed his medallion, so I don't know if that was a destiny thing or whatever. That's the way I took it, but at least they're actually bringing the medallion into play here. This is the original book-style medallion as opposed to the game-style medallion, which a lot of people complain about, but again, this is based off the books. So the medallion's fine with me, but at least they're kind of bringing that in to where it's actually showing him things. It's actually warning him of some impending danger or destiny or whatever it may be. So I thought that was really cool. I like how we're getting to know Yennefer more and more. She's certainly starting to use her sexuality now as she heads to Nilfgaard and tries to use her sexuality on her old friend with benefits. Doesn't quite work out with him, and she runs into her old teacher Tissaia. And what I thought was odd here was Yennefer blames her and the maid school itself for what she's went through as far as her losing her fertility, which of course is the running thread for Yennefer. She's trying to find all these magical creatures like the dragon or the djinn or whatever to heal herself. But she chose that path. She chose that to avoid going to Nilfgaard in the first place. And of course we see that as well. We see Fringilla, her old classmate, where basically she swindles her way, so she has to go to Nilfgaard instead, and now she's all powerful with the most powerful army in the world. So we see all the mages come together and try to decide the fate of Sintra. Are they going to intervene or whatever? Because obviously this whole mother thing with Yennefer trying to have a child is going to kind of hint at Ciri as well being kind of like a child to her, as far as maybe an adoptive child. Also really cool was that when Yennefer was at the maid school, she runs into Triss, who is now at this point been an old friend for quite some time. Again, this is 30-something years after she was sold off by her father for 4 marks. She meets Triss. As I mentioned before in a previous episode, Triss is going to be a fairly important character as well in this whole storyline with Geralt, Yennefer, and Ciri for that matter. And I won't say any more just in case I don't want to spoil anything. And it is important that Triss and Yennefer kind of know each other before some things go down. I also thought it was cool this episode how Geralt was actually there, like I mentioned before, but he was actually meditating. This is the first time that they showed him meditating, where he basically can heal himself and that type of thing while he was trapped, while Sintra was under attack. So I really dug this episode and how they're showing these other scenes that we didn't quite understand before. Ended up being Geralt was there the whole time. He saw the queen fall from the window, or at least saw her body, so he knew everything was going to hell in a handbasket. And that's why he was there in the first place, to take Ciri with him to protect her, because he did claim the law of surprise. He never wanted to do it, but he knew Nilfgaard was fixing to come in and conquer the damn place, but they were so confident they could beat them. So of course, in the end, she accepted fate anyway and told Ciri to go find Geralt of Rivia. That would be her destiny. And then we close, of course, with Ciri, out in the woods somewhere in the middle of a cornfield or whatever, with a fire going, trying to survive. And her old friends that she actually played Knucklebones with in the first episode were the ones to come after her this time. I thought that was strange. I guess they hold a grudge for some reason because she was royalty and all their families have gotten killed and that type of thing. So I kind of understand, but they tried to take it out on her. And we saw the mysterious little ending there where Ciri kind of unlocks this elder blood. I don't think she knew exactly what she was doing. But anyway, we're going to see a lot more stuff from Ciri, and I look forward to seeing what they have in episode 8, the season finale. Anyway, guys, as usual, let me know what you think in the comments below. Really love this episode. The timelines are closing in, and I'm assuming in the final episode we will see the timelines finally converge to where it's more of a linear story as we head into the novels in season 2. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think. As usual, thank you for all the support, especially you guys on Patreon. And a huge shout out to my executive Patreon SmokeScreen producers. And of course, if you dig what I do here, please give these videos a like, comment, and a share. And be sure to subscribe to get everything, and click that notification bell so you're notified when I drop a new video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.